Alright, everyone, I just want to go live real quick. I'm still trying to find a new time to go live. Maybe every once a week, every Friday at 10 o'clock is what I'm thinking, or on Mondays. Please, comment down below which times would be better. But obviously, you could watch this again later. Anyway, I wanted to go up here real quick to address a question about uh, uh, about one of the viewers that had a question about folds, I guess clothing. So I was thinking, um, one of the best things to do really is to shoot some reference. But if, and then learn from there. Um, so in the reference, you see how the folds actually work. It would be good to take reference of like really close up, like elbow sleeve reference, so you know how the arm would affect the cloth. So let's say this is all really rough. I just wanna. It's been a while. Okay, so here, so it's like this sleeve. Can you guys see this? Okay, I'm sorry if I can't respond to anybody right now because I can't see my screen. So let's say like this. And depending on what kind of fold it is, if it's loose clothing, there'll be like a rhythm. So anchor point, think of the anchor points where it doesn't actually fold, and when it's kind of more structurally anchored, like maybe here and maybe on the wrist here. But of course that would also move. So if there's like a rhythm that goes across there, and you imagine if this would follow the rhythm of this outside line, it would stop right here because there will be like a bottleneck here. So if you think about how much cloth is being stretched out here and how much cloth is being uh, crumpled here, and that's kind of like the basic idea. It's like squash and stretch, but obviously the amount of material you'll have on this side will not, um, it won't magically have more material, right? So it will have some stretch. So unless it already has a lot of material, but let's say there's some stretching from the elbow, it pushes here, and then it'll be like taut, I guess. Um, so from here will be like the radiating point where you don't know how much of this part will affect everything else, but that's kind of like the idea. And then when you look at your reference, you could see if that's happening in your reference. So like that's kind of like a basic way I would just block things out first, and then look for reference and see if that reference help. Not if it will definitely help you decide, help you design your shapes, because you don't have to follow the folds exactly. You just want to make sure it communicates that there is a fold there, so something like that. And then of course the dark and the light side to really push that message. Sometimes the fold could be somewhat wrong and it would still communicate the message, as long as it feels believable. No, I don't know if you guys can see it. Anyway, uh, it's all just really rough. And then pants. Every piece probably needs a study on each one, right? Like, and then like from the front, how would this is your rib cage? Oh shoot, I'm drawing everything backwards. So it is your rib cage. You definitely should have a basic idea when you draw of the structure underneath first, and then from there like I'm just gonna use this. There's no real reason why I'm using different pens, but I wonder this. Oh. I just like using the pen sometimes just to make it fun. So if you have a T-shirt, maybe a collared shirt, or let's say like like Superman's clothing, right? Superman. Um, his is really kind of tight, right? So, but you know where things pinch, it would be under the armpits because that's still a cloth material. But there's not gonna be any like looseness here, but you'll see some crinkles in some parts that actually bend. So like this waistline, you can move left and right, forward and back. So that would have some, in the design of the costume, you'd probably want this to breathe more, like not be so tight. So, and the S is on his chest, so that's a harder material. So that won't move as much. Um, this is, I think, a bad example. I realized for showing things that fold, because if I was to fold the arm, all I'll do is just have a little bit of just a little bit of fold right there, and then maybe some pushing here. But for the design for concept art, you probably don't have to. For superhero stuff anyway, it's more playing with the light and the materials, and how the light kind of goes over the costume. Like if there's a light right here, it would reflect here, so that you want to kind of design your shapes to lead your eye somewhere. So if there's a streak of light that goes through here, how would you accentuate that more, I guess? And if there's light that goes to the S like this, like you would want that shiny. I don't know how the new S looks like for the new Superman, but anyway, it's a bad example. But for really loose clothing, I think that's better to talk about. Like I had to, when I was working at Marvel, we would have to do these heroic poses. With the one leg up, Captain, what's his name? Maybe like this, right? Maybe Captain America, let's say, with his World War II outfit. So, can you guys see this? I don't know if you... Like this. So, you'd have to get reference for World War II stuff, jackets, and let me make this fast. So, how would a bomber jacket look like? I don't have reference on me, so this is not going to be totally accurate. But the bomber jacket has a certain material that it's made of, because it's workwear. It has a thicker kind of cloth. So so the quality of the fold will be a little bit more harsher, maybe. So you have to like study that. And again, reference, and maybe the crinkling would be, I think it has a little bit more smaller crinkles here, and it kind of is bigger here. Even this side gets affected, but there's the stretching on this elbow side and the squashing on this side. That is the way the light lands on him. Let's just do like a... You got your story. Anyway, so always remembering the anchor points right here. This is, I still need to... I haven't actually officially did the cloth class, but I think about it a lot, and you're hearing almost like, a stand-up comedian try to figure out his material before he puts it together. So anchor points here could fold into this other cloth that's holding here, that's just static. And when this folds, it will bundle up, all the cloth that's here, because there's nowhere to go, so it folds in and out of itself. And this side gets stretched so badly, so even the way you render it, you render this side kind of showing things that go in and out of each other. And this one is kind of straighter, and then in the middle of this you'll have that light streak that would kind of get disrupted here, and then go out again. Line Decker, you could look at a lot of Line Decker paintings, and check out how he does his designed cloth folds, because it's better to keep it simple and not get so detailed, for me anyway, so I could be faster with designing and just convey the message that this is this material, like a leathery kind of material. Because once you come down to the pants is softer, so then there's like certain folds that are different, certain things that will tug up if it's folded that way. And if the leg goes up here, how does the twisting happen down here in the pelvic area? And this leg going down here, how would it clump up by the knee? Because by the down where the boots are, it's gonna push things down here, and they'll start clumping down here. So where it's not being what do you call this, blocked, it'll be straighter, and then as it comes down to the base where the shoes, it starts clumping down and straighter here, because inside is your leg like this, right? And almost like nothing's holding the cloth up, so it just falls. But since it's longer than let's say your feet, then you have to pull that up a little bit, and the boots are stopping it here. So that's kind of like the idea, like it's falling. So you could even, again, reference is the key. I never well, now I could do like a quick sketch of an idea, but I'd still go back to look at my reference to see if I'm correct, because sometimes it doesn't look right, and that's where you really have to look through your reference. But sometimes you could get away with it after doing it so many times. You like, see that one looks wrong. This shape design looks like it should be like a cloth on top of like a monk monastery cloth, like this, a robe. So how would you do a robe? It goes straight down. How many folds does it accumulate on one end? And when it comes down, it gradually gets bigger. So how does that, in perspective, if you think of it in tubes, how would that look like down here if you're designing the bottom part to look a certain way, or this one to look a certain way? So the whole silhouette would have to be pre-designed of how you want it. And of course the story comes into that and all that. I'm realizing I can't do instruction without having story behind why the cloth is doing what it's doing. It's I'm sure it's simpler than that, but my mind goes into design, like does this look, a monk in a monastery, depending on his stature and his personality, is he like a central figure? Is he very symbolic, structured, and like how do you say this, like a prominent figure, a pillar of that community? Or is he the one always being put down and being bullied, so then his clothing would have more of a crinkle, more of a bending, kind of shape, maybe more shadows in certain areas, not like him, he's like just standing straight up, and there's no maybe he has a hood because he's a little bit more hiding his face more or something. I don't know if you guys can see this, but yeah, sometimes the shapes of your folds can can really tell the story about your character. So another layer to think about, which I'm sorry, I did not want to talk about that because it gets a bit complicated. I just wanted to talk about understanding folds, or addressing the question of one of the viewers. Sorry if it went too complicated, but hopefully this helps with. I mean, I'll try to come up with more um, explanation on how to do folds, and I'm not the best at it either. Just do what I can to make sure the um, the message is clear. Doing the shadows really also help out a lot. Oh, there's one part here at the pelvis region when you sit down. So here's the pelvis, pants. So there's pockets, right? And there's all this space, all this real estate in the middle. When you sit down, where does it go? It folds into itself, and usually the bottom part here folds up here. So then there's this fold that happens when you're sitting down like this, where um, because it's like this, and then you're folding into itself, and this fold kind of overlaps the bottom fold, and understanding that when someone sits down, and then putting the shadows in the right place, right? I don't know if you guys can see that. It's probably really messy. Let me put it over here. So when you're sitting like this, seam of the pants crinkles here, crinkles by the knee, and this crotch area kind of goes like this, right? Because stretch, squash, and stretch on this side. I would call it the active and inactive side because there's nothing really moving here. And then here, but it doesn't have to be this big, right? But it's crinkling there, folding over itself almost like that. Crinkling, is that a word? And then this length of this would kind of jam inside this, but get overlapped by the top, so you don't see it. So then there's that fold. Um, you know that even happens with your own leg, uh, like let's see. Let's draw the waistline again. Especially with female legs because they have like bigger hips, like this, right? So when you sit down, a lot, this whole thigh area kind of covers this part, and then sometimes the two thighs kind of push against each other. Something like that. And then you're sitting on something, so that pushes the thigh muscles to the side, and this pushes like this. Like you're thinking, you have to constantly think about how it's interacting with your environment. You know, when you push the thigh on a chair like this. Sorry. It's so unorganized, but hopefully this is cool. And if you have any questions, please just comment down below and I'll try to address them. But okay, so anyway, let me see if people are here. 6 people. Let me get my glasses real quick. Let's see questions. Are you? I love watching good anime openings and singing random worlds or the original song. Oh yeah, I love to. Yeah, that's really fun. I love to do that too. And oh my god, I can't see my. Are you? Oh, good. It helps. vocal range. Oh yeah, you like to sing? My all-time is Jungle P by 50/50, the one placed. Oh my god, I can't. I think the light is blocking my. I can't see everything. My thing for today, and I'm gonna go. Thanks for joining me, and hopefully this is cool. All right, I'll talk to you guys later. See you later. Bye.